Hello, welcome to Unequal Sequel.
Extra.
Yay! Oh.
Yay! Oh.
Oh, God. It's going to be fine. We're going to get through this. One of us is just recovering from COVID. The other one's got hay fever. And it's all going to be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's all good. We're not going to cough and splutter and sneeze all the way through this. It'll be fine.
No, I can mute that kind of stuff. Oh, I just got lightheaded then.
Oh, dear.
How are you?
I'm okay, mate. I'm better than you for a change.
How's that feel?
Yeah, you're all COVID-y, aren't you?
Well, no, I'm over it. I'm over the hump now.
Okay.
That was a couple of days ago, I would say. I've now been left with, well, people will know who had COVID, this cough that seems to linger.
Yeah.
And you just feel a little bit generally not all there, I would say.
Oh, I know. I had it 4
times. You've had it 4 times. So, yeah, you know. Lacking of energy. But I did have a night's sleep last night, so now I feel okay.
Good.
Well, I feel better.
Good.
And I just in time, because there was a time when I nearly didn't get to see this film.
Yes.
And we nearly had to do a solo, one of us just asking questions.
Yes, which would have been a challenge. Because there's not a lot to say about Transformers Rise of the Beasts.
Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go into spoilers a little bit on this one, I'm afraid,
we definitely
everybody.
are, because otherwise we just can't talk about anything, I suppose, can we?
Stuff happens at the end that I need to ask Rich. How, why, fuck, what, when.
Okay.
Actually, there's going to be a lot of those questions during this, because people might not know, but Rich is a big Transformers fan.
I
sit here now,
yeah,
and all I see in his background are classic Transformers toys.
Yes, I'm a
Generation
massive
1?
1980s Generation 1 Transformers fan.
Yes.
And so there is not a lot for me to love about the Bayverse, as we call it in the Transformers
This is not the
world.
Bayverse.
This is not the Bayverse. It's still quite Bayversey.
Yeah.
No, this is not officially the Bayverse anymore. Yes. But it's still weird bits. It's still weird.
Going into it, I was like, I'm not actually quite sure where this is going to fit into the franchise.
No, and so it's a sequel to Bumblebee, very loosely, and a prequel to the first Michael Bay Transformers movie.
Do you reckon they're still trying connected to that?
I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere, but I could be making it up, or they could be making it up.
No, I think because Optimus Prime lands on Earth in the first Transformers, doesn't he?
He does, doesn't he? True.
And in this one, he's been here for a while, and he is a dickhead. So...
yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that. Yeah.
Do you want to try and give the synopsis?
I fucking don't, because it's ridiculous.
And
Honestly,
try and tell us where the beasts are rising.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
So, the synopsis is Hasbro, the toy company, wanted to cash in on their Beast Wars Transformers franchise that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s time. And they thought, you know what? Let's make a movie with Beast Wars characters in it. But let's do them wrong. Let's do them all wrong. And also, you know what was good in the 86 movie? Unicron. He was good. Voiced in the 86 movie by Orson Welles.
Yeah.
His last ever role. Transformers 1986, Transformers the movie as Unicron. So yeah, they're like, yeah, let's bring him back. Nice one. Rubbish.
He is iconic though in that animated movie.
True. So basically, this carries on. Doesn't really carry on. Like, you don't have to watch Bumblebee to get this. There's one reference to it, I think, maybe, if we're lucky.
There's a reference when Bumblebee says, I like humans. And then Optimus Prime says, I know you were friends with one once.
Yeah. That's it. That's the only reference to that.
There you go. Thank you, Lincoln.
Yeah. I mean, Optimus Prime has had some sort of character transplant in this movie. So the... from what I understand of it, the Autobots have to find some sort of MacGuffin.
There's always a MacGuffin.
So far, so Transformers. And that MacGuffin is going to stop Unicron, a giant planet-eating planet, from eating Earth, essentially. And, yeah, Unicron has some minions called the Maximals, very loosely.
I thought the Maximals were good.
Not the Maximals, sorry. The Terracons.
Terracons. Yeah.
Predacons. Predacons.
No, in the film,
No,
they're Terracons. But you do see one Predacon, which is the scorpion-looking thing.
Right, okay.
I've just done a bit of research. You'll
Okay. Fucking nonsense. And yeah, it turns out that there have been the Maximals, who are essentially Autobots from the future, who transform into animals, but have been on Earth for a long time. It's so muddled. I could not make sense of it. Honestly, I was 10 minutes into this movie and I'm like, what?
Because they pitch up plot points and then never answer them.
Yeah.
Basically, the Maximals are from an alternate reality galaxy somewhere.
I think so.
And at one point, Optimus Primal, or the Big Bird, can't remember which one, says, "We're from your past and your future."
Yes. Yeah, and Optimus Primal says, "I'm named after you," to Optimus Prime.
Never mentioned again.
No.
Not properly. It's a bit strange.
And let's be clear. I mean, I've given up on the synopsis a bit, because after that point, it's fucking impenetrable. So, good luck.
They go to Peru, they eat some guinea pigs, they have a wonderful time.
It's odd. What I would say is that you should probably, before watching this movie, if you haven't watched it already, go and watch the entire Beast Wars Transformers TV series, all 3 seasons of it, whatever there is, because otherwise you won't understand a fucking thing that's happening in this. Yeah, probably watch the 86 movie as well, and probably all 4 seasons of the cartoon. Basically do your homework. How dare you think you can go to a movie and understand it from the beginning without having to learn all about Transformers for 20 years beforehand?
I do have questions about the beasts, the Maximals, because it is called Rise of the Beasts.
To be honest,
none of them rise. No. There's only about 4.5 of them.
Yeah.
And they don't really give a good example of themselves
they're
what,
pretty
why,
shit,
how,
aren't they? Like,
what they're doing. And I know that they're trying to not let Unicron eat planets.
And also, let's be very clear that one of these Maximals is voiced by Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh. Let that sink in for a minute.
Hellraiser.
Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh is a robot bird.
I thought she was delightful compared to Pete Davidson's Mirage.
Oh, don't get me fucking started on Mirage, by the way. we are going to have words in a minute. I'm all for. I'm very protected of the 80s characters. I think the 80s characters are good characters. But I do understand they need refreshing. So I'm fine with Mirage not being a Formula One car like he was in the 80s, because that's not very practical. You don't see many F1 cars driving around the streets of LA.
He turned into an F1 car at one point.
He did turn into an F1 car. It's a nice little nod.
Fan
There's
service.
A lot of fans are a bit upset about him not being an F1 car and being a Porsche instead, because Jazz is supposed to be the Porsche, blah, blah, blah. But I don't mind that. What I do hate is that his entire character is so off. Like, why is he making sex jokes? What? Why? They don't have genitals.
You've been inside me joke was the big laugh from the cinema I was in.
But really?
Yeah, it made me laugh.
Oh, God. So Mirage's character from the movies is supposed to be a pacifist. He hides. He's a spy. That's his whole point, is he can make duplicates of himself and they can spy on people and stuff. That's kind of the point of his character. He's supposed to be a pacifist. He doesn't want to fight. And it doesn't... this version just grates on me.
He's like an annoying 19-year-old.
Yeah, he is. Do you know what really...
Who's too full of himself.
Do you know what really annoys me? Is that they obviously put a lot of work into the soundtrack. Like a proper 90s hip-hop soundtrack. It's really pretty cool. And then Mirage goes, Wu-Tang is in the house while there's Notorious B.I.G. playing. Like, no! No!
I forgot that I just assumed it was now until someone mentioned it was in the 90s. And I was like, oh fuck. Yeah, that's where we're meant to be. And I quite like the soundtrack.
The soundtrack's great. That bit where he's like, Wu-Tang is in the house. I'm like, no, mate. No.
It's just old people trying to be cool. Like when we try and do it.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely, it's compared to I rewatched the first Transformers the other day, and I still very much enjoy that movie. Not the animated one, the first Michael Bay one.
Michael Bay one. I think it's all right. It's
horribly edited.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
But it has these power moments when you just can't help but like pump your fist, like, oh my god, that's so cool, and it holds up so well from like a 2007 film, and it's something that I never thought I'd see before then. I remember going to see the first Transformers film with our mate Matt Hyman in London. We booked ourselves a nice big screen because we thought it was a special occasion because Transformers are coming to.
I was very excited, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. You know?
And then what we've got after that, it just seems. Well, you might as well just kick me in the bollocks every time, apart from Bumblebee. And I quite like Dark Side of the Moon for some reason. I think there's some fun to be found in that film. Is it called Dark Side of the Moon? Have I just quoted the Pink Floyd album?
I think it's Far of the Moon or something, isn't it? Or...
No, it's dark. Cause it's the part.
That's the Pink Floyd album.
Yeah, it is Dark Side because that's
Dark of the Moon. It's called Dark of the Moon, not Dark Side of the Moon.
That's close enough.
Anyway, okay.
I have fun with that one.
That's the third one, right?
It is the third one. The second one is the one that's a mess because they filmed it during a writer's strike.
Yeah.
And Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox were writing their own
The Age
dialogue.
of Extinction is the one with the really shitty Dinobots in it.
That's when they really tried to capitalise on
then the last night, wild.
They made Hot Rod French.
And King Arthur's a robot. Who knew?
And then we get Bumblebee, and they scrap all of that, and then we get Bumblebee, and it's set in the 80s, and it's brilliant. And you should see the scores on Rotten Tomato. They're hilarious because they're all like the critics' scores are all like 18%, 17%. Like maybe the first one's 52.
What, for Bumblebee?
But Bumblebee's got 91%.
Nice.
So the rest are like terrible, and then Bumblebee's like up there. And I think it's clever that they've tried to carry on with that storyline or that world.
Yeah. And I did say to you when I first came out of this, I said to you it's the best of the sequels because I think it is. I think it's. But that's not saying much because those sequels are shit. Like,
they are awful.
I would watch this over Dark of the Moon, over Age of Extinction, over what the Last Night or whatever the fuck it is, any day of the week.
The Anthony Hopkins one, yeah.
Because this doesn't get totally unpenetrable, smashy robot. Everything's grey and you can't tell what's going on until the end. It does get like that.
Yeah, the last 15 minutes, it goes into that.
But it's pretty good until then. But what I'm confused about is like Wheeljack in this. So in Bumblebee, you see Wheeljack in Bumblebee, and he looks like his 1980s Wheeljack.
Which one's Wheeljack?
So Wheeljack in this one is the brown VW bus.
Oh, Danny Rojas.
Yes, Danny Rojas. Yeah,
that is his voice, right?
Yeah, that is his voice. Yeah. So Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
I was expecting him to say football is life at some point, but he didn't. Yeah. So in Bumblebee, bearing in mind this is supposed to be a sequel from Bumblebee, Wheeljack is in that movie. He's on Cybertron with Optimus Prime. It's in the start of that Bumblebee movie, looking like his G1 1980s Wheeljack and talking like his 1981 Wheeljack. Okay.
I was about to give
somehow he now looks completely different with a completely different voice. Where's that come from?
I could argue the case that he transformed into a different car.
Yeah.
Okay.
I fair enough. But normally the heads don't change.
No, you're right. And the voices
don't change. And they don't suddenly get an accent? Like, I don't know. Man.
Maybe they forgot.
It's a choice. It's a choice.
A lot
if
of
they forgot that, but they somehow like harp on about the lore in 1999 Beast Wars episode once, yeah.
How many in the Beast Wars? I'm guessing there's more than 3 of them.
Yeah, there's definitely more than 3. Yeah, there's quite a few.
And do they have a backstory that is understandable? Like at the beginning of this film, they're just on another Earth.
I don't know because I was
and then they fly off it, and they never really explain the lore why
they're there,
why they're animals.
Yeah, because they're not realistic looking animals either. It's not like the Autobots transform into vehicles so they can hide. They're not hiding. The Maximals aren't hiding. No one's going, oh, that's a gorilla. Because it's 5 times the size of a gorilla and made of fucking metal. So, what?
There's none of that. So there's no rise, the beasts.
No, it's more of a ponder.
There are some humans in this film.
I think the humans are probably the best bit of this film, which is bad for a Transformers movie, right?
Well, but that's because this film never really takes off.
No.
Like they go from one point to another, and there is some action scenes, some things explode at a museum, and then you get to Peru and things slightly explode again, and there is a bit of a car chase, and then at the end you get the atypical Transformers ending, which when just everything fucking noise, smash, light, effects, and then someone dies and then they come back alive again.
Oh God. Yeah.
But it never really switches into another, let's say, a fun gear. Most of this film, I just went through it going,
yeah, I get that. I get that.
I mean, it's no way is it like rubbish, right? Bottom of the shelf.
No,
like,
it's not.
Compared to where the Transformers franchises has been and made huge amounts of money for being absolute shit.
Yeah.
This was plain sailing, and everything seemed a little bit easy for all from getting into A to B and so on. And
this is looking like it's not going to make money. You know, $200 million budget, and it's not done well, as far as I can tell.
I don't think Bumblebee made huge amounts of money. They're relying on that. Those early films made money, but those early films also did a huge amount of damage to people wanting to watch these films, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Bumblebee's budget was like 135 million, and it made 467 million. So it made a bit of money.
I reckon. What did these include marketing? Because they're always sometimes they're double it for marketing.
Well, double it for marketing still made money,
but not enough to get excited about.
But if Rise of the Beast was 200 million, it's not going to make. I don't know if it's going to make.
I mean, it's on camera. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? Did you not think?
It looks all right. Yeah,
it's all there. They didn't spend money on the cast because these people aren't massive names. You've got Anthony Ramos, who's from Hamilton and In the Heights.
They spent a lot of money on the voice cast, though, didn't they? So Ron Perlman, Michelle Yeoh.
You know what? They haven't stacked it as much as they used to. There are a lot of just minor voice actors doing some voice. Yes, you have Michelle Yeoh. Peter Cullen, you have to have Peter Cullen.
You have to have Peter Cullen, yeah. So Pete Davidson, obviously like Danny Rojas. I don't know what his real name is, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
And then, like I say, Ron Perlman, Peter Dinklage as Scourge.
I only found out about that about 10 minutes ago that Dinklage was in this film, so good on him.
Yeah, it's a different one.
I can see. Yeah. What were you expecting when you were going in? Because were you expecting to get hurt?
I've got to be honest. I was sort of expecting it to be a little bit bigger than a little bit better than this.
Really?
Yeah,
my expectations are so low. I know Bumblebee was great, but expectations are so low.
My hope is that they were going to learn from Bumblebee and be like, make it a bit smaller and a bit more relatable. Personal. And do you know what? If you're going to bring in Unicron, and Unicron is an incredibly difficult concept to get your head around. Also,
he's massive.
But he didn't even transform, though, did he? He didn't transform. He stayed in planet form the whole time.
I was waiting for that for the whole film, Rich. I was like, I can't wait to see him transform. Because at one point you kind of see the eyes. This is good. The scale.
So I don't know if they're planning to do a second one and bring him back or something. But
they announced before this came out that this was going to be a trilogy.
Right. Okay. So there's probably going to be a Unicron trilogy, and perhaps have to go back and maybe remake. Oh God, they're going to remake the '86 movie, aren't they?
Possibly. That might happen.
Don't do that.
There is a new animated film next year called Transformers 1. I don't know if you've known about this. And Chris Hemsworth is going to be the voice of Optimus Prime.
I have heard this, yeah.
Probably on the Transformers channels on the Facebook.
Yep. The old Facebook groups.
And that's going to be all set on Cybertron.
Yes. Yeah.
No human characters.
There's been some reasonable kind of animated shows on Netflix set on Cybertron. Yeah. They're pretty decent. They're kind of not. They're animated movies that aren't animated TV. That's not really for kids. It's quite cerebral kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I think again, I think that's definitely for fans rather than that's for people who are going to go and buy the toys like me. Right.
But that's what this film is to sell toys. Well, originally, that's what came first. Was it the animated series or the toys?
It was the toys
back in
first.
The day.
Yeah,
there you go.
The toys came first. So the toys originally were a Japanese line made by Takara called Microman,
right?
And then they were bought. Hasbro bought the rights and turned them into the Transformers. And then to market them, they released the TV series and the comic books.
Right.
So the toys existed before the comic books, which is why a lot of the toys look absolutely nothing like the like the characters on the TV show. Like Ironhide being a perfect example. Ironhide's toy doesn't even have a head. It's ridiculous. He's got a little face behind a screen. Looks nothing like the cartoon.
Right. Well, that makes sense to me that this was made to sell toys. But at what point, and this is a spoiler for the end of this movie, so prepare yourself. At what point does G.I. Joe come into this?
Well.
Or is that just like they're hedging their bets? And we need to make money somewhere because the G.I. Joe films have never made money. And
Hasbro is a big fan of crossovers. So back in the day, there were Transformers G.I. Joe crossovers in the comics, which were made by Marvel. So the comics are Marvel comics with Hasbro properties. So yeah, the Marvel comics had G.I. Joe Transformers crossover comics. So there's always been that sort of loose, tenuous link. But then it also exists because of that Marvel link. There's also X-Men crossover. There's also Transformers, yeah. So there's that 90s kind of X-Men like Transformers crossover. There's also some minor kind of Marvel superheroes that show up in Transformers. I think there's a Transformers Spider-Man crossover at some point as well. You know,
I mean, a shame we're never going to see that on screen because they had two very different studios, Paramount and Marvel / Sony.
But that's a thing. That G.I. Joe thing is that's a big spoiler, by the way. That's not until the end credits. Yeah. But yeah, so there's a G.I. Joe crossover coming.
Well, is that going to happen? Is this where this is going for the rest of the trilogy?
You said it's a trilogy, so I would presume that's what's gonna happen.
Does that work for you?
Nope. I think it's like, do you know what properties we've got that aren't doing very well? Transformers and G.I. Joe. Let's put them together. Two lots of rubbish.
There's lots of in the background of mention of Hasbro stuff. I think Mario, is that Hasbro? I'm not quite sure.
I don't know.
Power Rangers was in the background a few times.
Yeah, I think that's how the toys are Hasbro, yeah.
That's Hasbro. Yeah, so that possibly could happen if this makes enough money. Because I don't think you can make a cheap Transformers movie.
No, I think Bumblebee's as close as you get, basically. And that was 135 million, so it's not cheap.
Because visual effects are not cheap. Especially when you need the visual effects to look when you want to make your whole movie about the visual effects, which this one is essentially, then you've got to put a lot of money into it, haven't you? Did you go see this 3D or IMAX or anything?
I saw it in IMAX.
How was it?
Well, bit rubbish. Because halfway through I got red wavy lines going across the screen. Yeah, it wasn't brilliant. They had to turn the projector off and on again. So yeah, it wasn't amazing, but I mean, it was all right. It was all right in IMAX, I suppose.
I'm trying to get him hyped for this, guys, because Transformers, big deal for Rich. And
Transformers are a big deal for me, but I don't think...
But not the films.
It's ever reached the heights of the 86 movie in terms of
how could you beat that for the soundtrack?
You cannot beat the 86 movie.
The emotional gut charge.
I saw it on my 6th birthday, and I have loved it ever since. I have the soundtrack on a picture disc, like a proper 1980s, like you used to get like records which had pictures on the records, like it's the shape of a transformer. And
I'd put that on the wall.
You can't get. It's in my dad's loft somewhere. I think I have to go dig it out. But yeah, my love of Transformers cannot be overstated.
No, there's stuff that happens that films like in the last how many years have been trying to replicate that emotion and that.
Absolutely. I mean, let's not forget,
like a main character dying and like that.
Not just a main character. They basically killed off everyone you love. In that movie. Every character you love. They basically, by killing Optimus Prime in that 86 movie, they basically killed everyone's dad. That's everyone's surrogate dad. Every 42-year-old man out there like me. Optimus Prime was the father figure, and they murder him in that movie, and I still love it.
Do you think they were trying to do something very similar to that? To when Bumblebee, spoiler again, guys, dies.
Yeah.
Doesn't die.
Doesn't die.
Dies in this movie.
I knew there was no way he was going to be dead, though, was there? That's the thing. Like, it just didn't have the stakes. Like,
That's like the whole film.
Yeah, just no stakes. Like,
You're like,
Mirage
he's
could
coming
die
back.
because you don't see him in another movie. Like, but there's no way Bumblebee was going to die.
Didn't even know he died until that mid-credit scene.
Really? Okay.
Because he says at one point he's injured. He is, and he looks really fucked up. But then he says to Noah, he says, "We're going to have to do this one together, or be a team, or something like that." And Noah puts on a Transformers suit, which
he basically wears the dead body of his friend as a suit. I mean, it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
And I thought, oh, right, so he's just helping Mirage to the end of the film. And then you get this mid-credit scene where Noah is putting the Porsche back together.
Yeah, I mean, how in the world does that even fucking work?
G.I. Joe technology?
Okay.
I don't know.
What, an old Porsche parts? His mate's like, I've got you all these old bits and stuff and to fix this car up.
Don't you just need the cybernetic crystals or whatever the mountains of Peru are made of or whatever?
Fuck knows, mate. I'm lost by this point. Who knows?
So, the MacGuffin guys in this film.
Oh my God, the MacGuffin
is a thing they've broken in half, and it's a portal to bring Unicron to wherever he wants in time and space. Yeah, it seems they do mention time travel, and yet they never mention time travel again. So and Optimus Prime, who let's say for 85% of this film is a fucking idiot. I
just don't understand it. I don't understand what that was all about.
He doesn't like humans. He's been on Earth for a while, even though he's not in Bumblebee, right?
Yeah, he is right at the end.
Well, barely then. Come on.
Oh yeah, he's in it at the beginning on Cybertron, and he's in it at the end.
Where he just rocks up.
But yeah, I mean, that's it. That's not my Prime. That's not Prime as I remember Optimus Prime.
But his idea is to get back to Cybertron using the port key.
Use the port key thing. Yeah, I guess. I don't know what it's fucking called. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure they keep calling it a port key for a whole of that.
Some sort of key. That's a Harry Potter thing, isn't it? A port key. But anyway, it's that sort of fucking shit. It
doesn't really take off.
It's another fucking magic MacGuffin that nobody cares about that just is convenient.
They all look alike. I thought Unicron was in Last Night. Was he not? Was that not what was happening?
At the end, isn't he? I don't know.
Oh, so there is a mention of some kind of planet-eating thing at the end of Last Night,
I think so, yeah. I
don't
know.
So this isn't the first time we've seen some kind of Unicron?
No, I think it's the first time we've actually, I think it's right at the end and you just see it from a distance, don't you, or something? Or I don't know.
Fighting for it not to come through another portal thing.
Yeah, some sort of fucking nonsense.
I think if... fans of Transformers movies,
Michael Bay movies, you probably like this.
You probably
clearly got poor taste. Sorry,
but I think if you don't like Transformers films and you watch this, you won't like it. If you liked Bumblebee and then you thought, and not the rest, you thought, I'll stay with this. I think you'll still be a little bit.
You'll be very
disappointed.
Yeah, and actually, I'm being hard. It sounds like I'm being harder on this than I mean to be because for the first half an hour, it's all right. I think
it is. Soundtrack's fun.
Yeah,
they're trying to put things in play quite nicely.
Yeah, and it's only
it's when they reintroduce the beasts that it gets a little bit dull.
It's the problem. The problem it has is that every kind of 15 minutes or so, it has to stop and re-explain what the plot is again because it's like so intelligible that nobody knows what's going on. So they have to kind of re-explain the plot over and over and over again.
Yeah,
and it just kills the movie.
And there's no Decepticons in this film.
No, and also I'm pretty sure in Beast Wars the baddies were the Predacons, and they were like Megatron was like a dinosaur, like a T-Rex, and they were they're all like dinosaurs and stuff, or like you say, like scorpions and things.
Yeah.
So where were they?
We've got 2 more films coming.
I just don't get it. I just don't.
Anyway, they had a good swing. Thank God it wasn't Michael Bay. At least it was well edited, somewhat.
Do you know what? Do you know what annoys me the most? I think Scourge annoys me, the Peter Dinklage character, because Scourge exists in the 86 movie. He's like a spaceship, a blue spaceshipy type thing. And that's, it's reasonably cool. But they make him a truck, like Optimus Prime in this one. Basically so that when he's a toy version, they can just remold an existing Optimus Prime truck and paint it differently and save themselves some money.
Lazy.
Like, that is like, it's just a fucking repaint. Yeah.
Shall we score an unequal sequel this month?
What are we saying this is a sequel to? Bumblebee?
We're saying this is a sequel to Bumblebee.
In that case...
This is what I was questioning myself for the whole film. I was like, so this is no attachment to the other films, but it is a franchise film.
Is it? I don't know. But we're calling it a sequel to Bumblebee, right? Because it's got the characters in it, and there's a brief mention of Bumblebee, the movie, in it. So in that case, it's a very unequal sequel.
Yes.
Because Bumblebee is great and this is terrible.
Just give me those characters from Bumblebee. Why can't I not just have the carry on from Hayley What's-Her-Face?
I mean, I don't mind
their
that.
relationship was like so good.
It was great. And I don't mind that because obviously if this is the 90s, then Hayley is going to be like 10 years older. Yeah. So I don't mind the new characters. And actually, I think Noah Diaz, who plays Anthony Ramos. Yeah, I think actually he's really good. And I think Elena Wallace is pretty good as well.
Yep.
So I don't mind that. Although her job is weird. What's her job? Like, she works in a museum, but she's just there to point out that the painting must be a fake because the real one's in the National Gallery?
There's meant to be a joke there that she's an intern and the person she's interning for knows nothing. And she knows,
okay.
Sometimes we've been in those positions.
Yeah, true enough. But yeah, so I think they're decent. I think I'm okay with that Hayley Steinfeld being left and that character and moving on. I just don't like this. They have to introduce new characters because they have to sell more toys, and that's the whole point of these movies. If you don't keep introducing new characters, you don't sell more toys. Blah 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 blah. Just make it a Rise of the Beasts movie. Don't put the Autobots in it at all. Just make it a Beast Wars movie.
Yeah, I would have loved to. I've actually loved to see
universe,
the rise of them.
Maximals, Predacons, alternative universe, Happy Days. That would be fine. Tell us how they got to Earth, and then have the second movie a bit more like this one. But you don't have to stop every 10 minutes and try and explain some fucking lore that no one's understanding. And then have your third one as a big battle on Cybertron, and Unicron's going to eat the planet. Happy Days.
We fixed it.
There you go.
Yeah, I would actually love to have seen The Rise of the Beasts and have them more prominent, because the only one that really does anything is the
Primal,
Primal. There's a rhino there, just goes rah.
Rhinox, yeah, Rhinox does nothing. Michelle Yeoh has very little to do. It's really annoying because
it's all a bit forgettable.
And there's Cheetor as well, and Cheetor's a great character, and just pointless in this.
Yeah,
there's
I
one
would
scene where he runs along next to Bumblebee.
That bit when Bumblebee drops from the plane, that was fun.
Yeah.
LL Cool J's playing. Don't call it a comeback.
Yeah, I'd say the soundtrack's pretty good. Sorry.
Yeah.
George is waving at me through the window.
I thought you were waving at me. No, I think it's an unequal sequel. I would just go and watch Bumblebee again.
Yeah, me too.
Now, or just the Transformers 2007 film. I like it. Or, like Rich said, go watch the animated movie from 86.
Go and watch the 86 movie. Get the 4K version, the Matt Ferguson designed one, where it calls Unicron Unicorn. Brilliant. Love that. Go get that version and watch that. It's 10 times better than this shit.
Yeah. I don't think this is shit. This is where it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm just...
This is where we have our problems of very middle-of-the-road films. They're hard to talk about and get excited about.
Yeah.
So what would you
And I'm
rate
ending up being harder on it than I mean to be, because it isn't the worst, but I'm just annoyed about it.
I think I've poked and prodded
you
that way.
It could be so much better. It could be so much better, and it just annoys me. Right, okay. What am I going to give it out of 7? I think it doesn't deserve much more than a 2.5. I think that's probably where I'm at.
What is the most middle score we can give?
Well, 3.5 is the middle of the road, isn't it?
Is it? Well,
Yeah.
that sounds very generous, and I would just say this is very, very middle of the road.
If I think about what I would give those Michael Bay sequels to the first Transformers, I don't think I'd give any of them more than 1 star.
The first one,
No, the sequels to the Michael Bay ones. Not the first one. The first one's okay. But the sequels following that first 2007 movie, I would only give 1 star. And
to all of them.
No, well, 1 star maximum. I think I'd give less. But so I think 2.5 for this one is actually a significant improvement.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go 3 then. I'm gonna go a little bit more generous than Rich.
Right.
3.2 because you were an idiot last week. Did that?
No, I didn't. I did 6 3/4 last week.
In a world where every week now there's big movies coming out.
Yeah.
Like we had Guardians, Spider-Man the other day. We got Flash come in.
Yeah.
Then we got some other stuff that I can't remember. This will be forgotten very quickly.
Yeah. And this was the one we were kind of most worried about, I think, wasn't it?
Is it? Oh yeah, because of the history of the franchise and your relationship.
Flash doesn't look like it's going to be world beaten, but hey, who knows? Could be
Michael
wrong.
Keaton's Batman. We'll find out
Yeah, that's true.
Next week. Maybe.
Yeah, so let's take 2 of my most favourite childhood properties and ship them both in 2 weeks. All right.
On that note, Rich, you could see us out. It's fine.
Oh dear. I don't know if we've mentioned, I don't know if you've heard yet, but Series 5 of our interview episode's out now. So yeah, go and have a listen. We've got episode 1 out. By the time you hear this, episode 2 will be coming very shortly. So get prepared for that. While you're there listening to those, if you wouldn't mind hitting the little subscribe button, hit that auto download button, and we'll drop into your pod player of choice at least once a week, and at the moment twice a week. Lovely. And if you really, really love us, get onto anotherslice.com/unequal sequel, and you can join our subscription service where you can get even more from us every single week for only $2.99 a month. So you'll get an extra bonus sequel to all of our interview episodes. You'll get access to Box Set Mentality, where we talk about the Planet of the Apes franchise. You'll get access to our Disenfranchised series, where we talk about movies that should have had a franchise and didn't. Whereas we've just spent this one talking about movies that have a franchise and probably shouldn't have. But yeah, so go and sign up on that and Another Slice. We know $2.99 a month. We know times are hard at the moment. So if that's not your thing, just give us a little like, give us a subscribe, give us a heart, give us a 5 stars, tap us out a little review on iTunes, telling us we don't have annoying voices. We just love that. Gives us little butterflies inside. And tell your friends. If you want to tell us what you thought about Transformers Rise of the Beasts, maybe like me, you're a big Transformers fan, or maybe like Dave, you don't really care that much, then get on social media. We are at Unequal Sequel on Twitter and Instagram, or you can email us, because this film's set in the 90s. Our email address is also off of the 90s, unequalsequel@hotmail.com, and we'll read out all of your messages in the end of month roundup.
Yeah. Can I just point out, I do really like Transformers. I was a massive fan when I was younger, and I had a lot of the toys, and it also meant a lot to me. And I had a Transformers poster up at university, and I found it the other day when I tidied up at my dad's house.
Get you!
And I've still got one of the dinosaurs around in this house somewhere now as well. Anyway, yes, John Carpenter, Disenfranchised, Another Slice is coming this week. Me and Rich started to watch it last night. Together, separately.
Did not finish it because it's quite long.
Too long. We'll get into that. Okay. And yes, next week is going to be either The Flash or Extraction 2. It depends on a couple of factors, but whatever doesn't make it onto the main Friday episode will eventually become an episode on Another Slice.
Tell you what, go on social media and tell us what you want us to review.
That'd be nice. Let us
know what you want. We might not do it, but it'd be nice to know what you fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got nothing else to say apart from carry on listening to season 5. It's great. And nothing else. Rich, you got anything else?
Nope.
Okay, it's a goodbye from me. So bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Bye. And it's a goodbye from him.
Bye!
See you on the next one. Sequel to this one. We'll try and be more happier about the film we're going to review. But who knows? They could fuck up Batman.
No promises.
Imagine if they make Batman like Keaton rubbish.
Oh, they can't. Surely I'm going to regret saying this. I'm going to regret saying this. But they can't make Keaton Batman rubbish. Oh, but they could.
They could.